Try Me by The Weeknd. It's another Weeknd song. Let's listen to it. 3, 2, 1. Going back. I always like music that goes back and forth between the left and right outputs. Oh, could this be a bit more upbeat? Definitely getting Starboy vibes off of this. Starboy vibes off of this. Did I say this was going to be upbeat? It's not really like low-key like the other ones were, but it's, or at least not as much as the other ones were. I wouldn't call it like exciting either. It's so what's the name of this album? Melancholy, my dear. Guess it makes sense though that there's so much of it's like kind of down low like this. I feel like I should find the picture on the front creepier than this. See, this is the problem with doing the top 40 reactions like this. This is just like, this isn't a bad song. It's just really not particularly noteworthy. This is kind of exactly what I would imagine like Weeknd album filler would sound like. Like I'm kind of like I've listened to 3 Weeknd songs in a row and they're all kind of blending together, honestly. It's even though the last one was, a bit more interesting, it wasn't like anything mind-blowing, which is a shame because that's like, I like when the Weeknd does something mind-blowing. He's good at it. He's not incapable of it, certainly. I try to stifle that yawn, but this song is, I wasn't like fake yawning either, I was a legitimate yawn, but, I feel like I really need to yawn, but I can't because I know that you guys are looking directly at me. It's just, it's like you can't yawn when someone's looking at you, even though I really feel like I need to. Part of that is because I am just tired. I've had a long day. But this song is not doing anything to keep me up either. Yeah, that was Try Me by The Weeknd. I feel excuse me, I really need to yawn, so let's take a break from The Weeknd for a second, then we'll be back. I'm just gonna yawn really quick. Okay, before we get to the Weeknd's biggest debut of the week, we get to actually take a break to look at someone else. Here we have the newest song from Cardi B, called Be Careful, off of her new album, Invasion of Privacy. I have not listened to the album. I'm not really an album guy. I've mentioned that before. I've heard that it's okay. But, yeah, Cardi B. Cardi B. I've talked about her several times on my channel before. I believe the first time I mentioned her was that time that I dropped quite possibly the single most epic cringe bomb that I've ever seen in a music review channel. You guys don't have to go back and look at that, but it's bad. I'm mostly proud of my earlier videos for the most part. I mean, obviously there are some like audio tweak-ups and things I've improved since then, but in terms of the videos I released earlier this year, there are definitely some areas where I'm not proud of myself, and that was my biggest embarrassment. I blush every time I see that. And that was because when I first saw Cardi B and hearing Bodak Yellow, I was like dumbfounded by how big it was becoming so quickly. I heard it, and I heard the bass, and the fact that it was, I mean, that Cardi B does have a lot of similarities to Nicki Minaj. And so naturally only popped into my head. And so I was just like kind of panicking because I'm just like, no, we don't need another one of those. Only needs to be lost and forgotten to time. But over time, she changed my mind. And I have since admitted that I was very wrong about Cardi B. I like her now. Way more than I ever liked Nicki Minaj, come to think of it. Because, she does, like I said, I mean, the comparison between the two of them is inevitable. I mean, not only are they two of the only, really, really successful female rappers, but at the same time, they're also, like, kind of annoying, but you know that they're annoying, and that's part of their shtick. And I feel like Cardi B does that shtick better than Nicki Minaj. I would say Nicki Minaj definitely has talent, but I think that's just a personal taste thing. I think of the two of them, I've liked far more that I've heard from Cardi B than I've heard from Nicki. And I've liked, like, most things that she's done. And I already mentioned this. I just went on a big tangent about Cardi B in my spring ranking video, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Instead, I'm just going to say that I'm kind of looking forward to this. I don't expect it to be, like, mind-blowing, because there hasn't been anything I've heard from Cardi B that's, like, really blown me out of the water, but just, like, I think it's pretty, fitting that she's currently engaged. She's not married, is she? She's engaged to Offset from Migos, because, I feel very similar to her the way I do about Migos. They're not the most, like, technically skilled or proficient in the game or anything, but they're just, like, they're a good neutral. They are neutral, and they are good at being neutral in terms of everything. So, Be Careful by Cardi B. Let's see what this is. 3, 2, 1. Not expecting this production. It's slightly off key again.
I wanna get married, like the Curry, Stephen Aisha shit, but we more like Belly, Tommy, and Keisha shit.
I missed that reference, so don't know what to respond to that.
To a piece of shit. Man, I thought you would've learned your lesson. About liking pictures, not returning texts. I guess it's fine.
It's just me, or is she just like pretty offbeat?
You keep in contact with certain exes. Do you though? Trust me, nigga, it's cool though. Said that you was working, but you out here chasing culo.
I am not liking this beat, guys. This is.
What you did to me, to you a few times, but if I did decide to slide, find a nigga, fuck him, suck his dick. You would've been pissed, but that's not my MO. I'm not that type of bitch.
This is like.
Karma for you is gonna be who you end up with.
It's just like kind of not very pleasant. It's just like. Most of that's just down to the production, but she's like. Between the stuff she's saying and this, it just comes out. This is like sounding kind of like unnecessarily just like. I mean, I know it's kind of supposed to be threatening, but it's like. But that production is just like, it's not like heavy. It's just like light and chintzy. This is not working for me, guys. She's not an awful singer. I'll give her that.
I was here before all of this. Guess you acting now, you got an audience. Tell me where your mind is.
I will say, one thing I have liked about Cardi B is how she, is how she talks about her rise to success and how thankful she is about it. It's very, that's a good topic for that. It's just like to not bragging about how she's made it, but just be like, it's more like, holy shit, I made it, I can't believe it.
Nothing like the nigga I met. Talk to me crazy and you quick to forget. You even got me tripping. You got me looking in the mirror different. Thinking I'm flawed because you inconsistent. Between us,
I know that I should be siding with her here. It's like I'm listening to her, and these are like not.
Started switching it up. Teach me to be like you, so I cannot give a fuck. Free to mess with someone else. I wish these feelings can melt. You don't care about a thing except your mother.
It's like these are. I mean, it's not like she's not like lyrically flexing or anything, but in terms of what she's actually saying, it's like it's a perfectly reasonable song. She doesn't sound like she's like being unreasonable or anything. It's just like it's this production is just like putting me in a weird mood. It's not a threat, it's a warning. I think that may have been the first Cardi B song. I can't say the first Cardi B song, but with the exception of Bodak Yellow, I think that may have been the first Cardi B song that I have actually actively disliked. And I came around on Bodak Yellow. I was just like, I came around on it because it was something that was like, it was something completely unexpected. And I guess that was unexpected too, so I suppose time could like change my opinion of it, but first impression wise, that wasn't good, guys. I did not like that. And I can't put a ton of blame for that on Cardi herself, because like I said, it's just like, I know that I should be siding with her, I should be rooting with her, because she sounded like she was being completely reasonable, but it's, again, I wasn't like, didn't catch all the lyrics, even if I'm 100% paying attention and not commentating over it, I still very rarely catch all the lyrics on my first listen through, and that's one of the reasons first impressions aren't usually affected too hard by the lyrics of the song. But yeah, it was just that production that was so weird, and it kind of put me on edge. It's just like, and the way she was kind of like speak rapping over it, it was just, I don't know. That was weird, and I didn't particularly like it. We'll see how the album turns out, but for now, I wasn't a fan of that, guys. Was not a fan at all. Not at all, but I wasn't a fan. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so here's a fun fact for you. Out of the 11 weeks I've been doing this show, I just looked back and counted, and out of those 11 weeks, 8 songs have debuted in the top 10. In 11 weeks, 8 songs have debuted in the top 10. So, at this point, you'll forgive me if I don't even think that this is much of an... I mean, it's still an achievement, obviously, but you'll forgive me if I don't consider it much of a special occasion anymore. That being said, I still do want to give special props to this song, Call Out My Name by The Weeknd, because this song managed to debut at number 4 on the charts, in the top 5, without even being released as a single. I looked it up and just found that every single song that I've talked about for The Weeknd so far has debuted as high as it did without being released as a single. They were all just songs off of his new mixtape. That is impressive. That is very impressive to be able to do that. And so here we have Call Out My Name by The Weeknd. I don't really know anything about this. I hadn't heard about it. I kind of had a hunch there were going to be some Weeknd songs, though obviously not so many. And so I'm not surprised to see something from him debut in the top 10, honestly. Out of what I do know about this song, apparently it's about Selena Gomez, which is something that apparently Selena Gomez and The Weeknd dated, which is something I found out about, which is so hard for me to wrap my head around, because in my mind, The Weeknd is a mythological force that can turn to a bat and drinks blood and has been alive for thousands of years, and Selena Gomez is like 10. So the fact that they dated is just screws with my mind, but apparently it's about that, so that's interesting. Also, this was apparently produced by Frank Dukes. I'm going to be talking about Frank Dukes in my 20 upcoming Worst Songs of 2016 video coming up, although not for the reasons you might think. Let's just say he has, he's one of the most popular producers of the past couple years, and I'll just go as far as to say he has produced both some of my least favorite work of those past few years and some of my favorite work of the past few years. So, incredibly mixed bag from this guy, and I don't really know how to feel about it. So, that's all my fun fact / trivia information for you, to cover the fact that I don't really have much else to say about the Weeknd that I haven't already. Let's just not waste any time and get to the song. This is a lyric video, which is nice. I wasn't really too keen on looking at that same static album cover again for the fourth time in a row. Not in a row, but there's a Cardi B song on. And you know what I'm talking about. Call Out My Name Be the Weeknd. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Much more structured than the other ones. Like the other ones were just kind of like, you could tell like the producer was just like tinkering, adding stuff. This is like much more controlled. Like I could even with this weren't a lyric video, I could very distinctly hear every word. Alright, Weeknd, buddy, where you going with this? Powerful sounding song. I talked about the lyrics necessarily, but just the sound of it. This is, I wouldn't say this has punch to it necessarily, but this has force behind it. I think I like it. I like what he's doing with this verse. It's like, that's sad. This is sad lyrics, honestly. Yeah, I can definitely see why this was the one that debuted in the top 10. This is my favorite out of the four of them, I'd say. Okay. I was not expecting that. At least now I can say there's another person who did the blown out speakers thing better than XXX Tentacle Hentai, because that was the one thing he had going for him, was that he was the only, like, the person who popularized that. I have a feeling, like, I'm thinking this is, like, perfectly alright now, but I think this is gonna grow on me. Assuming it doesn't fall off, which I'm hoping it doesn't. I don't see this getting huge on radio play, though, which is where one of the places the Weeknd has been huge in the past. A good lyric video too. As far as awesome lyric videos go, the middle still has the market cornered, but that's right. This is a Frank Dukes production, isn't it? This is what it sounds like when Frank Dukes produces a Weeknd song, huh? I'm pretty sure that I like that. It's unquestionably my favorite song out of the 4 Weeknd songs, and I'd say also my favorite song of the week. And yeah, it was the most basic of them, of the 4, but it was like, that had like such, it's like staring into a thunderstorm. It's just like so enormous and powerful. It's just like, that was a really cool song. Yeah, I like that. Call Out My Name by The Weeknd. You get a thumbs up. Good job. Alright, so those were the weeks of April 7th and 14th, 2018. All in all, that was a pretty average week, I would say. There wasn't anything there that I would really say that I detested or despised, or even any that I thought were that bad. I'd say the worst one was probably, it was either that first Weeknd song, I don't remember what it was called, or the Shawn Mendes song. And even then, that's just like, I wouldn't call those songs like necessarily awful or anything. They're just like songs that I just don't see myself ever returning to. But yeah, I'd say my favorite 2 were Power Glide by Ray Shremmerd, which is, it's a pretty, it's a basic track, and it's really not breaking any new grounds or even doing anything special at all, but what can I say? I dig it. And then you got the Call Out My Name by The Weeknd. That's one that I'm curious to see how my opinion on that one evolves over time, because I can see myself growing to really like that, but only time will tell. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction videos. I hope that you guys were alright with the changes to the format. I mean, I know there are only like 2 other reaction videos of mine left up on YouTube because of the copyright, but I cannot figure out how to get around them. Hopefully this video is going to stay up for a while, and I hope that you guys also check out my Best Hit Songs of 2007 Part 2. You know you guys have been waiting a long time for that, and I've explained several times why it's taken so long to get out, but it is coming out the day after this video is posted, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. That's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.